Hey everyone, and welcome to a Microsoft Bookings training video. We're going to cover today just the personal side of the booking pages and not really the corporate or the shared booking pages. So if you're looking to have a personal meeting or event that you want to be able to have other people schedule, this will be a perfect video for you. If you are interested in the shared ones as well, let me know and we can cover that as well in the future videos. They're a lot more complicated, so I don't want to get into that today. If we can, this is already probably going to be a little long, so trying to keep them separated. Anyway, let's jump in. The first thing you're going to want to do is go to outlook.office.com/bookings. It should look like this. You might also have some similar shared booking pages that are either there by default or were built by the company. We can ignore those for now. Again, if there's a need for that in a future video, we will cover it. From here, we're going to go to my booking page, and it'll take you to outlook.office.com/bookwithme. You could go there directly if you wanted to and skip that first page completely, but wanted to show that just in case there was a use for some of those shared pages. We use them internally for booking meetings with multiple people, so it can compare two different calendars and make sure that the meeting works for everyone that needs to be in a particular meeting on our team. Kind of cool. And again, if that's something that's valuable, just let me know. So first things first, you'll see the page. It's not shareable yet. There's nothing you can do because we don't have any events to plan. We don't have any meetings to book. So we're going to first start by building a public one. This just means that they're public or private on a page. Microsoft actually publishes a page that the public can get to if they know the link to your page. So the public and private here doesn't necessarily mean that the link you share becomes private. It just means that there's an actual website and it won't show the private ones on the website. You'll still get to create links for those if you want, and you can share them out to people that you wanted to use those meetings. So let's start by making a new meeting. Let's call this 365 training. And I don't know that I would need to categorize that, but if that's something you use a lot, you could do that. We could add some specific notes if we wanted to, like call this Teams training. And then it could be specifically to Teams. Location, if you're doing it on site, you can obviously uncheck this box. It will try to locate the location by allowing Chrome or Edge or whatever browser you're using to grab your personal location. You can block that if you want and then just enter the address in there, but kind of up to you. I like to block those and just generally do it myself rather than let the browser know where my location is all the time. So we'll skip that for now. I'll leave it as a Teams meeting. A Teams meeting training is probably going to be more like an hour for me, so we'll flip that to an hour. We're going to leave it as public again. These will appear on your booking page, right? And if it doesn't, they won't, and only a link would get them to that window. By default, when you make these for the first time, if you've never used your booking page before, this checkbox is usually on. Send an email with your personal booking page to your top collaborators. If you're not paying attention and kind of clicking through these things to test it, it will email all the people that thinks are top collaborators and send them a note, letting them know you have a new training program available. If you think that's wonderful and great, leave it checked. We have been kind of testing some of this recently and noticed that by default, we would be changing and moving things around and it would turn itself back on again and send emails to some staff and many of our top emailed clients. So people that we emailed probably most in the last week or so as clients got another email saying, hey, there's a new 365 Teams training link if you want to schedule a meeting. I can see a use for it. I feel like it's small. I would not do that. Regular hours for Outlook or for Office 365 or Microsoft 365 is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Unless you change that in your Microsoft tenant. Most people probably haven't, so that's what my regular meeting hours are. I'm going to do custom because I want to change that. I don't want to have meetings on Fridays, and I have a standing lunch on Tuesday, let's say, that I'm going to be done with meetings by 11, and I don't want to start back up until noon. Obviously, the Bookings app will look at your live calendar, but if I have a lunch, say, that isn't on the calendar always, but I know that I need to do it, or a meeting that's standing, but it sometimes isn't always on the calendar, maybe aren't booking them out in advance, but you know there's sort of a set time that you're doing that, You can block those times off here. So now you can see on Tuesday, 8 a.m. to 11, no problem, I'm open. And then afternoon, or from noon to 5. So not bookable Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can always customize those. I would definitely recommend going into the advanced options as well. There's a lot of things in here that I'm pretty sure you'd want, and I don't know if I would call them advanced, but they're that. So don't be afraid to click advanced options. I would definitely go check these. I'm a personal fan of having a little bit of breathing room before and after, even if it's a Teams meeting. Sometimes they go long, sometimes there's a little questions beforehand. It gives people time to get into the meeting, get out of the next one. I don't love the idea of getting stuck in a meeting and then not being able to get there on time, and that seems like a problem to me. So I like to give a little bit of time before and after. Maybe 15 is too much. You could do 5. It's up to you. I think it probably makes sense to have some sort of buffer time to your meetings. And then again, if you want to do 15-minute intervals, that way it lets people book after that buffer time and not necessarily having to go all the way to that next half an hour. You can adjust those there. The lead time for me, again, I think it depends on the meeting type that you're building here. For an Office 365 training, I'm thinking 2 days is the minimum to give me some time to prep. If it was a phone call maybe or something else that you were doing through Teams, you wanted to coordinate your phone calls, maybe an hour is fine. That still seems like a short amount of time to get ready for a phone call, but if that's works for you, then you can leave that as is. But again, as default, if you're building an event and you're not in these things, the default is an hour and no buffer. So unless that's cool with you, I would get in there and change some of these things. The maximum lead time is 90 days. That's probably a long time for me. I'd rather go out like 60. If I don't have a vacation planned yet or those sorts of things, I don't want to have to constantly move my meetings around. And I'm usually about 2 months out on a vacation plan or something. So I'm going to kind of dial those in a little bit for myself. And I love the email reminder idea. I think for me, I would do a 1 week one saying, hey, these will all be very more professional if I was going to do them in reality, but let's just do something quick. Hey, look forward to our meeting next week on Teams. Let me know if that doesn't work for you anymore and needs to be rescheduled. I think I'd have another email reminder just for maybe a day before. It's funny too, as soon as you have the 1 week, it doesn't let you do another one. But I guess that makes sense. Prevent you from sending out 2 on the same day. I think it would take the almost exact same thing. See more. Just give me this whole thing. But I'm going to do it for just a day instead. You'd obviously want to make these more professional. So you'll be able to see here that your meetings will get dropped in their inbox a week before and a day, just so they remember that they've got a meeting with you. I think that's great. I know that things constantly change in people's schedules, and having a couple reminders is maybe a good thing. The last thing here in the advanced is a follow-up. I don't know if I love this one so much, as I like to have those follow-ups be a little bit more custom. Thanks for the meeting. It was great talking about this or about that specifically. Look forward to helping with this, or maybe there's follow-up questions. But I guess if you wanted something generic, you could put that in there too. You'd want something more than thanks for the meeting probably, but there's something in there now. Hit save, and you are all set to go. You have now built your own bookings page. You can see that the share button is now not grayed out and public, so you can copy that link. We can go in a new tab and check out what that page looks like. So see here, it takes you right to this bookings page and lets you choose a date. Again, not out more than 90 days. Looks like it's still loading the calendar for some of these future months here. But it's pretty straightforward. Click the time, the day you want, and want to talk about file sharing specifically. So that's pretty much it. Your meeting is now booked from 11:50 to 12:50, Thursday, December 28th. Both parties will get an email, and that email is pretty straightforward and looks a lot like this actually. That lets them reschedule or cancel that meeting. And if you want to make another one, you can obviously just head right back to that page and grab another time if you needed to. So let's compare the public page to a private one. To do that, we'll have to quick make another meeting, like a test meeting quick, and we'll call it a Teams meeting, public, private, fine. Yep, let's leave it all like that. Save. And now if you go and look at my Bookings with Me page, I go here to my Bookings page, you can now see there's 2. Yay, wonderful, right? If I wanted to just show this one, I can copy this link and paste in that specific link, and you'll now just see the test meeting instead of being able to see both. And obviously, if one of these, for whatever reason, you didn't want to see on the Bookings page, you can make it private. You'll see it pop down here into private. And then if we go to this Bookings page now, you won't see that test meeting gone. But again, a direct link to that test meeting will still work. So if we go back to the Bookings page and find the private one and just grab a link to this thing, you can open that in a new window and you'll just see the Book With Me page for test. If you notice on this previous page, there is a single use link. So I could copy a single use link, and then this will only allow someone to book it one time. So if this meeting gets booked and we send that, try to put that link in again, it should prevent us from making a second meeting. So that makes it a little bit more private in case that meeting link gets sent out accidentally somewhere. You can now say the booking link is no longer valid, is up on my screen. Please contact the organizer for a new one. So if there was ultra private meetings you needed to make, that would be certainly a great way to do it. Put them in private and then make those links single use only so that you know it goes out to the person as soon as they book something with you. The link they had, if for some reason it got passed around, emailed, shared, would no longer work for getting another meeting on your calendar. Again, assuming that you want to keep your calendar pretty clean, you don't necessarily want people just booking things at random, that would be a wonderful way to do it. That is pretty much all there is to talk about. It's actually really simple to use. It should be a great tool if you either don't have something like this, or you're maybe paying for Calendly, or even if you're in a free version of one of those Calendly apps. To have this, you're going to get a lot fuller feature set than you would at the free level. You're probably closer to the paid level of one of those programs. And it's probably a little bit better integrated into Office 365 too. We've used them in the past, and I constantly, maybe not constantly, but I definitely have over the years had to resync things and get it to do what I want, make sure that it sees my calendar. I've had it book things on my vacation time sometimes because it doesn't see the right things. So this is going to be a great tool. I haven't used a ton of it, but I think as we're booking some more meetings in the future here, we'll be using this a lot more, and figured it might be something that others out there could use. I love that it's also self-service. You can build your own booking page without having to build or be an admin in your company. That you could build one for yourself. You can put it in your email. If you go to share, you can put it in your email signature. Book with me right there in your email. I think that's pretty cool. And then the people you're sending emails to can just self-serve, and you can put in the email, hey, let's look for a time to meet and talk about that item or whatever. Check the link in my email to find some time on my calendar. And you don't have to send 5 emails back and forth to determine what's the best time for both parties. And if it changes, you're constantly having to send emails, and it gets a little bit messy. So I think it's a great tool. Go check it out. Let me know how you think. And if there's a need for some shared booking trainings, let me know and we'll do that as well. All right. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye.